I think they can't get that stupid StreamYard logo out of here. You know, I got my own logo. But I'm not gonna hold you guys up too much longer. Um, with all them weird testing things, I was trying to get my microphone working. I got this new microphone right here for the computer, but for some reason it doesn't seem to have any sound when I record on it. So I was doing all this testing. Sometimes the sound, not the sound, but the picture camera wouldn't work. So I don't know what's going on with that. So I do use a different method. But you guys came here for Black Widow, huh? Well, you gonna get Black Widow. Not in person, I wish. But hmm. I was debating while I was actually watching this movie how long I'll actually go with this thing. But I don't care. I'm gonna go as long as possible and whenever I get fatigued. Because there's a lot of stuff I want to say about this film. And right, I had to travel across the heat to go watch this film too. But regardless, uh it was a movie. I didn't feel anything. And just for the ones to talk about, say you don't watch any MCU, wasn't gonna watch any MCU stuff. I did on one of my last videos right when I came back from my little hiatus. That said, I will watch the movies, not the TV shows, the movies. And but I would not show any enthusiasm in them. And this one, I did not have any enthusiasm in. This movie, Black Widow, how dark over here. This movie, Black Widow, is 5 years too late. Way too late. Way too late. This is something that should have been done right after Civil War was over and done with. It even picks up just a tiny bit from when Civil War left over from. But for the normies, I could say this movie, they eat this all up. This is good for them. As for me, shoot, where do I begin? Now, let's say this. Up leading up to this movie, I really didn't give too much attention to it. I felt it was already past its prime. This is a movie that should have came out, like I said, 4 or 5 years ago. Not now. Uh, and then there was all the BS behind it, like it always does when it comes to promoting these movies about how these actresses and actors feel about all their agenda politics and all that. I just ignored all that because after a while, it just comes to circus clown show. And then I hear some rumblings from different YouTubers about Taskmaster, the main, supposedly the main villain in this whole entire movie, won't be the Taskmaster, as we all know. Comic book fans all know from the comics. Basically, I ignored that, but I kept it in the back of my head. This movie, it's my agenda politics, and no, it's not. The male characters in this movie, they are straight the most egregious male characters I've ever seen in my life. There's no strong He-Man alpha males in this movie. All the men in this movie, well, maybe the main bad guy, maybe, just maybe, but we'll get to that later. But all the men in this whole entire movie, all the men in this whole entire movie, they're nothing but goofballs, idiots, evil men. There's no regular men in there. They mention what could be. I don't even know anymore because now when it comes to men in superheroes or even movies now, they just made to be idiots. But they talk about real men, men that are probably more manly men, mainly men that are alpha type men, like Captain America, Iron Man, Thor. Talk about the even Hawkeye, which this movie does a lot of references to other heroes, just fully loaded with just references. But back to the whole man thing. Either you're evil in this movie, or you're a plain idiot, or you're just a beta male in this movie. That's all it is. Main bad guy, evil ass man. Red Guardian, idiot. There was another guy that Black Widow, Natasha was getting help from. Beta male. You're beta male. So is evil, beta, or idiot. That's what you're gonna get in this movie when it comes to the men. We all know this movie is gonna be a female led movie. We knew that. No big deal. All the Black Widows are all females. I hope they're all females. That's fine. But I can't get over what they made Taskmaster. Taskmaster is supposed to be one of those villains, man, probably one of the best villains out of that Marvel. I'm not even gonna say MC out of Marvel because he basically knows every probably hero, probably even villains go-to move, how they fight, how their tendencies are when they fight. Basically, he's on it. In this movie, we get kind of that. We see like a little image in the beginning of the movie, and I don't know what's going on. I guess they put a chip in Taskmaster's head, and you see like an image of actually the videotaping of Black Panther and Hawkeye fighting each other, and basically Taskmaster is probably watching and studying how they fight. Taskmaster uses air. I think he uses arrows and use arrows, use Black Panther's claws, use the shield in this movie. Basically, use Hawkeye. I said Hawkman, wrong company. Hawkeye, Black Panther, and Captain America's shield claws and arrows in this movie. Another thing about this movie that let me stay on Taskmaster right quick because this is the most egregious part of this whole entire movie. Taskmaster is a male in the comic books, cartoons, whatever medium he was in. In this movie, in this movie, she's a female. And the daughter of the main bad guy, Dragunov. Is that how you pronounce his name? Dragunov, the main bad guy in this film. The daughter. In which Black Widow actually tries to assassinate the main bad guy and I don't want to say Dragunov, or whatever his name is, Russian name is, and his daughter, which basically becomes Taskmaster in this movie. Taskmaster is not a woman. Let's just say that. And basically, I keep saying basically, I like saying that word a lot. But the main bad guy uses a chip to basically to put his daughter in control. So basically, he can control his daughter into whatever missions he has planned for her. And the daughter is actually played by a former Bond girl from Quantum of Solace. I never can say her name, but she played in the Quantum of Solace. She's not the one that got killed in Quantum of Solace. She's the one that lived that James Bond had help from. That's who she's played by. Weird, isn't it? If you remember Quantum of Solace and one of the Bond girls, the one that survived, you know what I'm talking about. And she was in not Max, but Max Payne too, and all sorts of different movies. She's Taskmaster. I just don't understand why. I don't get it. If I don't get it, I don't get it. But we all get it. You all know why. My agenda politics. I just don't understand why we can't have some of these accurate characters. Red Guardian. It's not the Red Guardian I know. Red Guardian I know was full of Mother Russia, Russian pride. It was not the father of Black Widow 1 and 2, I should say. In this movie, he is. Basically, the whole plot of this entire movie surrounds Black Widow on the run, trying to take out the Red Room, which all these Black Widows are being created. So all these assassins, basically, spies, are being created in what they call the Red Room, which is high above the sky, sort of like uh, how Shield is with their. I can't think of what the Shield ships are. I can't even think of what they are. It crossed my mind right now. But basically, that's what they are. So Red Room is high above the sky and all that stuff. It's where they make the red Black Widows at and everything. How they are commanded and trained and all that good stuff. So Black Widow's whole point is to take them all down. And she uses the help from her family, which Dom would be very proud of. Family is a big thing in this movie. Dom Toretto from Fast and Furious, like I said, he'll be very proud of the whole family thing in here. But nobody's related in this movie. Red Guardian is just the agent for the Russia. Uh, what's her name? Elena, which I think is the Iron Maiden in the comic books, but Rachel Weisz character in this movie, not not related. None of these people are related. Black Widow, Natasha, and Yelena, not related, which I don't think they was ever related anyway in the comic books. But they played the family because Red Guardian and Rachel Weisz character whole mission in the United States was to retrieve some sort of uh, mechanism or some sort of serum that can control soldiers, basically. It's kind of like, it kind of reminded me of what happened in Civil War, the movie, supposedly movie before. What happened a couple, well, let's say a couple of days or weeks before this movie happened. That's the whole mission that they were supposed to do. And they kind of show Black Widow as a young child and all this stuff. I'm just going everywhere right now with this whole review right now. Trying to remember everything. And the funny thing about Red Guardian is Red Guardian was in the beginning, he was sort of like he was kind of like he was an idiot in the beginning of the movie. He wasn't an idiot in the beginning of the movie. So they're trying to escape Shield, which Shield is not really Shield at this time because they take it back to '95 or so in the '90s. Shield, as we all know by this time, is not Shield. It's been infiltrated with Hydra soldiers and all that stuff. But they're on the run from Shield. We're gonna call them Shield for now because they stole that whole mind control thing from Shield. I forgot what they called it in the movie. And he's shooting up the Red Guard, he's shooting up the trucks and everything. We're riding on the plane as they're trying to escape on a plane and all that stuff. All of a sudden, later in the movie, he's just a complete idiot, complete imbecile. And I think for the last 20 to 10 years, he was in jail in a Russian prison, gulag somewhere. So I'm guessing the prison made him stupid. I don't know. Definitely a change in character from the beginning of the movie into the middle into the end. Because from that point on, he's just an idiot. I don't get it. I don't know why they did that. Weird choice. And Red Guardian is not the father in the comic books. He's more like a love interest to Black Widow. I think he's kind of like a let's say not a rival. Well, I wouldn't say a rival to like either like Captain America. Well, he is a rival to Captain America. Basically, he's the Russian Captain America. But as far as romantic rivals, I don't know. I gotta look that one up again. I gotta read that one up. But in this movie, he's the father of Black Widow 1 and 2. As far as Yelena, I can't say these Russians. Yelena Bolova, whatever her name is, I can never pronounce her name. I just call Black Widow 2. They made her the most. That's the thing about modern movies. They try to capture real life stuff and how people act in real life. And I'm gonna call her Black Widow 2. Not Natasha, but Black Widow 2, her younger sister in this movie. I'm gonna have to call her. They try to put that whole millennial, not asshole, but smart ass into her character. That's what her character is. That's what they kind of made her character. It was cute in the beginning how she was acting, and towards the end of the movie, it just got annoying. And what I mean by millennial, you know how millennial us. I don't even like to equate myself from being millennial. You know how us millennials act. Sometimes we act like a bunch of smart asses. That's especially how she was acting throughout the whole entire movie. And I got tired after a while. And there's another thing about MCU movies. They keep doing this every movie. They have done this every movie. They gotta put them jokes in. Everything has to be a joke. And they did that a lot. And it's gotten to the point now when I'm watching these movies, I don't even laugh at the jokes. Like, I think the last time I probably even laughed at a joke in the MCU movie was probably Endgame. Maybe. I don't know. But the jokes, they just keep going up. Just keep going up. And I had to tell the truth as I ramble on. I had to tell the truth. I think it was probably 2 to 5 minutes. I actually fell asleep during this movie. I couldn't keep my eyes open because this movie, well, at some parts, especially in the beginning, it was like lots of parts of just being slow. It was slow, you know. There's just lots of talking, lots of sister, and lots of that towards the end too. Sisterhood, yeah, slay, that kind of stuff. It's just, oh my goodness. Try to stay up. I'm a hardworking man. I want to be entertained, not put to sleep by woman talk. Sorry to all the women out there. Sorry to all y'all. I got nothing against y'all, but I just don't want to hear women talk for 10 minutes in the movie. It's like carry this on. And there's lots of that going on in this movie. And I did forget this will be a full spoiler, so whatever. But I'm trying to think what else happened in this movie. I just can't get over that they can't help themselves when it comes to gender swapping characters or race swapping characters. In this case, like I said, it's been gender swap, and there was no reason to gender swap Taskmaster. Taskmaster was cool, probably one of the coolest villains in the Marvel universe, and they just made a complete fool of it. There was no reason to make a. There was no reason to do that at all. It really was, and it comes to the point when with these movies, especially the superhero movies in general, mainly the MCU. DC's starting to do this a lot now. It's come to the point when I can't even get mad at them anymore because you know what they're gonna do. They say they're gonna do it, so there's no point in getting mad. It's just out the whole entire movie. I just didn't feel anything. Right? There was nothing to feel at all, and everything seemed in this movie also seemed cliche. You knew it was gonna happen. Let me get back in the camp a little bit. I think I'm leaning on the other side, but I'm really not leaning on that side. Everything in this movie seems like it was just cliche. You knew it was going to happen. It's predictable. There was no tension because you can kind of know what happens to Natasha Black Widow later on. You know, we all know she's not going to survive Endgame. She survives Infinity War, but this movie does lead to Infinity War. I guess, middle of the movie, Black Widow 2, Yelena, whatever you pronounce his name. I hope I got it now. Hack bad with names. She buys a vest. And she was like, this is one of the things the first things I bought as a basically free of the influence from the Black Widow program, the Red Room and all that, because in the beginning of the movie, actually, she is free from that whole hold from the main bad guys hold, whatever you want to call it, brainwashing. Basically how the events turn up, because this is a little bio sample that can actually take the Black Widows out of their programming, so to say. And she's like one of the first ones in this movie to get hit with it. And I think she bought a vest in mid movie. I said it's one of the few things first things that she bought. And then she eventually gives it to Natasha at the end. And that vest, think back to Infinity War now. Think back to Infinity War. She wears a vest in Infinity War. And it's the same vest. So she basically gets a vest passed down to her. And she gets her hair blonde and everything. What she looks like at the end of at the beginning during Infinity War, because it kind of leads to that. Because I think her next I think her next mission was not her next mission. Her next thing to do was actually break out Scarlet Witch, Falcon. Who else is in there? Ant Man. I don't think Ant Man got broken out of. Maybe he could have got broken. I don't remember. I just remember he's on house arrest and Ant Man and the Wasp. But the ones who got locked up at the end of Civil War, they eventually are broken out, which leads to that. And then we get a post credit scene. I thought for a minute before I go on to the post credit scene, I thought Tony Stark was supposed to be in this movie. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought he was supposed to have a cameo. Not William, that's the actor's name, but General Ross, well, Secretary Ross. Now he makes a few scenes in this. Uh, so the last part, this is a post-credit scene. Black Widow 2 visits Black Widow, the original Black Widow, whatever you want to call it, Natasha's grave at the end of the movie. And this is after the events of Endgame, of course, because now she's dead. And she's visited by, I forgot the name of her name, this character. But the character is being played by Elaine from Seinfeld. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how her character came around. I guess her character has come around, made her first appearance in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So if you didn't watch that, you wouldn't know where she came from. But Black Widow's 2's next mission is to go after Hawkeye for Hawkeye killing Black Widow in Endgame, which we know did not happen in that way. We know that Natasha made a sacrifice to get that other stone, so Hawkeye can get the stone and put all the stones back together and everything. I wonder how that's going to turn out. Is that going to turn out with Black Widow 2? I guess you can call it a new Black Widow. The Black Widow 2 chasing Hawkeye and then eventually come to agreement about something. Is that going to happen? Of course that's going to happen. They make Hawkeye look stupid in this movie in that photo that they show him. I'm done talking about this movie. This movie, it's dead on arrival, but I can't be mad about this movie. I don't need to be mad about this movie. It's just subpar. It ain't the best. I hope people ain't trying to say this is probably one of the best superhero films ever, which this wasn't. It's not really a superhero. It's in the same league as Batman, non-powered hero. I guess you'd call it non-powered superhero. That's another thing I wanted to point out, which is not really a nitpick from mine. I know some people probably might nitpick that, but it's not really a nitpick from mine. But in this movie, both Natasha and Yelena do survive some weird injuries. Mainly Natasha. She's getting thrown around. She falls from like 100 feet and survives with nothing. No pain, no nothing. Maybe some pain. No injuries. No major injuries. I'm like thinking like a regular human fell from like 100 feet, fell from the second floor or something. They hurt. She ain't hurt. Maybe a couple of bruises, but she walking perfectly. Like, I just thought that was goofy. But I'm just not a nitpick because you see this guy back here survived worse. Then again, if Batman does fall from 100 feet, he's hurt. Then again, if you read Batman Hush, he did fall from 100 feet almost and broke his skull. But I don't know. Maybe that's part of my agenda politics right there. The woman is so good that she can survive falls from 100 feet. I don't know. It's weird. But like I said, I'm done talking about this movie. As far as the future of the MCU, they actually showed a trailer of the Shang-Chi. I'm not feeling that one at all. I guess they brought Abomination back. I've been waiting to see Abomination for the longest time, but I didn't know he was going to bring you back in this movie coming up, Shang-Chi, whatever you want to call it. I didn't know he's going to be brought back. He should have been brought back a long time ago. That's if only Disney had the approval to do a Hulk movie, which they do not have the approval because Universal still has the rights to the Hulk. And now the Hulk is nothing but a complete imbecile himself. So Abomination versus Professor Hulk with a burnt arm. Yeah, that's not gonna go very well for him. And I just don't get the whole 10 rings. They're not calling him the Mandarin because I think it's cultural inappropriate to call it Asian person Mandarin, I guess. But I just don't understand why we never got the real Mandarin now. Why we didn't get the real Mandarin in 2013 when Tony Stark was still alive. I don't know. That'd been great to see the Mandarin versus Iron Man. Some reason Kevin Feige and whoever else was in charge didn't like that idea. Instead, they gave us a fake Mandarin played by Ben Kingsley and what's the what's the actor's name that played the Adrian Killian? I can't even think of his name right now. Is it Guy Pearce? Yeah, gave us Guy Pearce and Ben Kingsley. One looked like the Mandarin, and actually none of them was the Mandarin. That's the thing about, especially both superhero companies. They, I don't want to shout out to Young River 59, Eric July for this one. But basically, what this is what they do in both boardrooms in DC and Marvel. They get a big wheel of fortune and they spin it like that. And then whoever stops on the arrow, they pick up. They just go by name. And these characters are not known for what they are in the comic books. They just choose them by name. Maybe they might look like the characters, but they don't act like the characters that we all know from the comic books. That's basically what they did to Red Guardian in this movie. He looked like Red Guardian, but he was a complete imbecile. That's basically what, that's my favorite word. That's what we're going to get moving on with the MCU. Characters only by name, not acting like they do from comic books, cartoons, whatever media we first saw them in. That's the sad thing about it. I said the same thing with Birds of Prey. I'm always going to go back to Birds of Prey because that's perfect, one of the perfect examples of just choosing the names, and these characters are nothing like we know. They did that with the Huntress, where they choose to pick and choose what the Huntress background was. The Huntress didn't look like the Huntress. The Huntress looked like a reject from the 80s, a terrible reject from the 80s. Cassandra Cain was nothing like what she was in the comic books, a fierce warrior, fierce child warrior in the comic books. In this movie, and Birds of Prey, she's nothing but a pickpocket. Black Canary, nothing like she is in the comic books. And it's not because of her skin color. Even if it was, even if she was, well, Jesse, what's his name? Jesse Smollett sister. Even if they did, well, they did pick her, they could have made her at least accurate to the comic books. I don't care about the skin color, but they choose the skin color the wrong way and didn't do anything from there, from the comic books that Black Canary is known for. And same thing with Renee Montoya. That movie was a hack. And that's what mostly the MCU movies will be going forward. Yay, we got Kang the Conqueror. Ain't nothing like Kang the Conqueror. Yay, we got Craven the Hunter. He'll be nothing like Craven the Hunter. Spider-Man is another perfect example of just Will. Oh, fortune. Pick Spider-Man. That's not Spider-Man. He'll never be Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire, I used to say Andrew Garfield was the worst. Oh, no, 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 no. It goes Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and then Tom Holland at the bottom. Spider-Man, the MCU, is nothing like the Spider-Man that I know. He's not this Spider-Man right here. He'll never be the Spider-Man. At least Daredevil was Daredevil. Sort of, in the MCU. And we never get this Hulk again in the MCU. Never. But it's sad to see, and this is one of the reasons I keep pressing and people seem to don't get it. If you're not going to be accurate with the characters, at least some sort of accuracy in their storyline, something close. then I will have no enthusiasm to watch said stories, movies anymore. Because nothing but hiccups. And that's all this has ever been for the last few years now. Each movie that the MCU makes, it gets worse and worse. Nobody's want to sit there and bash and get on man and gaslight and get on their feelings. That's fine. I was going to continue to say this ain't what I know from reading the books. These characters will not be. As long as whoever is in charge of both Marvel and DC, these characters will never be as accurate. Not even say it had to be 100% accurate, but at least act like the characters we know. Don't do characters by name only. That's all I'm saying. I think I'm done. And that's my review. It's a hacked up review. It's a hot day today. It's very hot. It's like 119 today. Very tired. Surprised I stayed up for the rest of the movie because all they did was chit chat for half of that movie. Very, very slow movie. 2 hours and 15 minutes of that. That movie could have been like less into like 100, maybe an hour and 30. Like they spent like 20 minutes at the beginning getting chased, and then they spent another 10 minutes on the credits, opening credits. Like, golly. I think the first 20 and 30 minutes of the movie, I was already pissed. I'm like, can this movie move along fast enough? It's moving too slow. But I think I'm done. I think I bored you guys long enough. And I'm out of here. But I would have to say this. Don Toretto, I'm gonna say this again. Don Toretto, he'll be very happy that this movie was about family, even though nobody was related. But even Don Toretto's family, half the people not related. He calls everybody family in that movie, in those movies. But Don will be proud because this movie was all about the family. I'm out.